Welcome to Frankly Speaking with Sendra D. My name is Sendra Dorcé. This is part 2 of a 2-part interview. We hope that you enjoyed the previous segment.
This episode of Frankly Speaking with Sendra D is in memory of all those who perished in the 2010 Haiti earthquake. May God bless your souls, and we shall never forget.
So welcome back. My name is Sendra Dorcé, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Frankly Speaking with Sendra D. I want to say welcome to Minister Dr. Jean-Francois Thomas, who I know as Franco, who's a friend, and we go way back. Our parents, our fathers were in the military together. He is my brother. So I bring you, my dear friend, to speak to you about leadership in the times of turbulence. And we talked previous week about his personal journey that led him to here. So, Franco, welcome, and thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Just fine, just fine, just fine.
Okay, so good.
We're there,
Okay, so
fighting as usual.
all right. So this is the second part of the interview. I want to talk to you. Last week we talked about your personal journey, and then we are talking about your role as Minister of Environment. So you talked about a little bit about what inspired your interest in the environment before. Believe you said it was your grandfather. And so talk to me about that and what that specific component of your life experience, specifically as it connected to the environment and developing your passion for it.
All right. As I told you, and many kids uh, would go to Canada, Miami when they on vacation. But on the contrary, me and my cousins, we would always go to Belader. Belader is a city, as I told you, in the Plateau Central, in the central part of Haiti. Beautiful, beautiful place. I liked Belader a lot. As a matter of fact, they would one day, my mother decided, you're going to spend half of your vacation in Canada and half of it in Belader. After 2 days in Canada, I started screaming, I started crying, saying them, send me back to Belader, where I'm going to the river, I'm going to see the trees, I'm going to see good environment, not artificial ones. So eh, I was, the kind of kid raised in nature because with my grandfather and my grandmother, they would wait for every vacation on June for us, and we would spend like wonderful vacation. When I say wonderful, wonderful, can you imagine going to the river early morning, eating in the river, eating good stuff in the river, going back to, to my grandfather's field. So that helped me a lot to understand nature, to understand the beauty of nature, and also the power of nature. My grandfather would explain us that whenever you keep cutting trees, there is no water retention in the land. And when there is big rain, everything would go and ravage all the structures. So we would learn to protect nature because nature like you a lot, but nature do not play when you are against nature. So
Absolutely.
since very young, I learned to respect and to love nature.
Absolutely. So this is fascinating because, I'm such a city girl, and, I grew up with a lot of concrete around me. But, I remember my childhood in Haiti having the most beautiful beaches, the mountains, you know, um, I'm so very grateful to have had those experiences. But even now, when I go into the wilderness, or if I practice meditation, when I go off to meditate in certain parts, it just reminds me of the childhood that I spent around, just in Haiti, with just around the sort of around nature. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about what led you to now, having had that experience, what getting you to let's see, when you became minister of the environment, it was a crucial time. What year was this?
Uh, from year 2013, 2013
Mhm.
until 2015.
So were you the first, was that the first time Haiti had had an environmental division?
Oh no, 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 no. The Minister of Environment was there like even 10 to 15 years before I became.
Really?
But I did create the structure of the environmental protection team,
I see.
which was organized with a former military men,
Interesting.
strong, exactly. So that's what I came from with. And
So
these were the one I put at the mountains to protect the mountains.
oh my goodness, that's fantastic. So what were your key objectives as Minister of Environment at the time?
My key objectives were four aspects. First of all was education, environmental education. As I told you, that's the basic thing. Second was the reforestation. Everybody should be involved in reforestation of the country. Third thing would be the alternatives of energy. So to induce people to stop using trees as energy, charcoals as energy, but to find alternative energy. So we did approach many organizations doing a artificial charcoal, creating also a special ways, special places to cut
Mhm.
trees. And the fourth aspect was the strong one, was the environmental protection. So these were four aspects: education, reforestation, alternatives, and protection.
That's fantastic. It's and it seemed like you were perfect for that role, considering what how your passion developed early on. But I want to talk to you about what was so the environmental protection. Was that the what you feel most proud of as your tenure during your tenure as minister, having put that in place?
Eh, I had two things that I was very proud of. The first aspect was the education, environmental, because we had reached most of the country, most of the school, especially poor schools for poor children that would be very close to the rural part of the country, to teach them to respect nature and to to plant trees. Whenever you eat an orange, do not throw it away and keep the seed and do a tree with it. So we started reaching many schools, and the children really liked it. So the educational part would be would be one of my favorite aspects. I really put emphasis on it because we started to reach many schools with
Mhm.
children, talking to them about environmental protection. And it was amazing to see how the kids were interested in nature. And the part I liked also was the protection one, because that is whenever you do not want to learn by reasonable means, so you have to learn by force.
Absolutely,
Also,
absolutely. So yeah, so now I want to take you back to 2010. What was the environmental impact of the Haiti earthquake?
I know it was, oh my God, it was total destruction. You know, and there was no plane since many years. They had stopped making construction under specific regulations. So the destruction was incredible. And that led to an invasion from people living in the rural, in the remote parts, especially also in downtown also. All these
Hmm.
people moved to Pétionville, to other cities, and it increased poverty and promiscuity. I mean, like, everybody started packing up together, and that was a disaster. We had all kind of diseases that would be a that would be a
Contagious?
menace, exactly contagious, because everybody would be together in shelters. I think the impact of the earthquake was something terrible, terrible in every aspect.
Yes, and it was probably it's because the infrastructure of Haiti was already weak, and then you add the earthquake to it, it just broke. It's how they say it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So,
Exactly.
and so, what do you think are the long-term effects of this of that earth of the 2010 earthquake?
Yes, since it created more poverty, it created poverty, and it's very hard for the country to recover from such a catastrophe. And still, many people lost everything they had and are living in Port-au-Prince, and they don't even know how to go back, how to go back to the place where they came from. So I think that it was a catastrophe, but also we learned a lot from it. We learned that we have to start creating jobs outside the cities like it was before. Because when
So
you have all the
decentralized.
exactly, when you have 80% of the population in the city, when you have so many good lands to production, and
Absolutely.
you are completely weakened, and you can be destroyed by any kind, I mean, like, even, natural disaster. All right, and now we have to start creating a structures in the remote parts of the country. We were first before in rice production, sugar production, all kind of good things to eat. So now we have to start creating jobs outside the cities. And this is the
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
this
And
will
that's something, job creation is definitely something that I spoke to Ambassador Denis about because, security, job creation, all those are essential to Haiti's survival. And I mean survival because that country cannot survive in the current state. But I want to talk to you a bit more. Let's see. So what are the top three strategic decision on Haiti for the next 3 years or the next 10 years? So the strategic, so you talk about job creation. So what else? Because I think that ties into the economy. But I want you to tell me what are the top three strategic decisions for Haiti for the next 3 years. I know you're no longer in the government, but you're very
exactly.
active. around Haiti. So please share with us what your thoughts are.
All right. And I believe, and I think many people in place now agree with it, would be reinforce education, reinforce it. So to teach people to learn that the country is dying, but the country is not dead. There is a big difference between dying and dead. The country is dying because we lost what they call a appartenance. I don't know how they call appartenance in English.
Belonging?
But you will translate when you want.
Is it belonging?
Appartenance is when you feel something is yours.
Belonging.
Exactly. So the
Belonging.
country is ours, so you belong. Exactly. So we have to start creating again in young people that sense of responsibility in Haiti. So education is the key. The second strategic decision is related also to education. Is teach people to vote for politicians not by the way they talk, by the way they speak, but about what they have done, about their behavior, about the way they have been educated, not in terms of money, good big society, not. But the people have to start voting emotionally. They have to start voting, studying exactly who they are voting for.
Logically. so
Exactly.
so you are so I want to bring you into what recommendations do you have for each Haitians to assist with these efforts on a personal level. So you're saying, each person has to have a sense of belonging because Haiti is yours, and so therefore you have to have a sense of accountability for what happens in Haiti. You have to have a sense of ownership because if you call yourself Haitian, you are part, you have a commitment to that country as long as you're, living there. Even abroad, Haitians like myself who live abroad, trust me, I've wanted to disconnect from Haiti for so many times. I keep getting pulled back. And there's something in me, because I didn't leave Haiti because my parents were running from anything. My father went to serve abroad as military attaché. So he told me, you are Haitian first. You're not even a woman. You're not even anything. You are Haitian. And I couldn't understand what that means. So for me, I had to take that sense of ownership that when I am abroad and I say to someone, I am Haitian, that I represent that country in the best way possible. So for a person on a personal level, what recommendations do you have for each Haitians to assist with these efforts? Because it's easy for me who's not living in Haiti and going through the struggles, but how do you help your children or your one son who's still in Haiti process the challenges, but still maintain his pride in commit to contributing to society as a Haitian?
I always tell him, do not believe in criticizing only. It's easier to criticize, to say they didn't do anything, they didn't do something, they didn't work, the government is doing such and such. But what about you? What do you do in your neighborhood? Are you useful in your neighborhood?
Okay, so please tell me about your son and what you're teaching him and how you can help other people be more accountable or be held more accountable for their actions and how they can assist in this, rebuilding of Haiti.
I tell them, especially my son also, or my nephews, sons of my good friends, that you have to stop criticizing. You cannot keep your life criticizing because it's easy to criticize, to say they didn't do such and such. Look at the country is collapsing. There is no job doing done, anything. It's easy. But you have to question yourself, to ask yourself, what have you done yourself even in your neighborhood, in your school? Did you protect environment in your neighborhood? Did you tell people do not cut that tree? Did you tell people let's put some garbage cans, some garbage big containers so we keep it clean? Have you done something yourself? Because Haitian has have that bad habit of taking away the responsibility from their back, from their shoulder, and put it on others' shoulders. You have to be in charge also of the future of your country. You have to know that
Absolutely.
you have a job also to do. It's too
Absolutely.
easy to criticize. Do something in your neighborhood, do something in your school, and you will be amazed to see how things will change. That's
Absolutely.
exactly. That's
So this
why,
is
for
so important.
example, when I was raised as a kid, we had that what they call the scout, the Boy Scout, the scout,
Hmm.
that we would go to Mon L'Hopital, we would be protecting trees, we would have that kind of all of these activities that would create that bonding with the children in his country, they have disappeared. So we have to come back to these things so we know that the
Absolutely.
country is ours, that we have to be involved. Be involved.
Absolutely.
That's
So this
what
is
I'm telling
so
them. And
powerful.
everything will change.
Absolutely. I mean, nowadays the new generation is more focused on social media and what their friends are wearing, and the latest actor, what they're doing, and the Kardashians. But anyway,
Exactly.
that's definitely something that needs to be thought about. So I want to touch on, we were talking shelter security. These people who are displaced now for 10 years. So do you see any progress that has been made? I mean, do we have a number for the people that were homeless because of the earthquake? And today, what is that number?
Okay, we had more than 1 million people that were homeless, a lot. But and many people were in shelters. Now the shelters have been empty, and many people have been able to come back to their places. But the big problem is that the places are still destroyed. So these people are still in very bad situation. And I think that the government, the state, will have definitely to put more money on the budget to take care and replace all these people. We have to admit that many of the fundraising that have been done for Haiti after the earthquake has not been used as it should. But I will not enter in that kind of thing, even if it is frankly speaking, that would be
Why?
another
Why
interview,
not?
which is
Because this is where I'm gonna push you. Are we
but
talking about the Clintons? Are we talking about
but
who are we talking about? Are we
but
talking? I will send you a video that I just saw because I'm frankly speaking, I have said, Mr. Clinton, please come on the show and tell me where those $10 billion were. Because, and I know you cannot because you were an official and of course confidentiality and all of that, but people are suffering. People need to be cared for. I mean, people are stealing land. They've taken my land because they're building because they don't have any place to live. So those are real topics, real issues, and I hope you can come back, doctor, to discuss some of these difficult conversations when you know
exactly.
you you can be a little bit more candid, because we need to really talk about these things. These
Yes.
are these are important topics. So I will let you off the hook because I know you have to go. And I want to say thank you. Today I'm speaking with Minister Dr. Jean-Francois Thomas, and better known as Franco, who was the minister from 2000 in Haiti from 2013 to 2015 after the earthquake of 2010. So I appreciate him taking the time. And we've talked about the environment, we've led him down to this point, and of course there's a lot more work to do. So now I want to take you back to more on the personal side. One more
But
thing.
let me please say something. For example, because I have uh, because I'm first of all a medical a doctor in veterinary medicine, and also I have that part of politics, but also I have a strong military background. Whenever I talk about a delicate, sensitive subject like the one we just approached, I have to be very accurate, because there are a lot of accusations that seem to be true, that seem to be realistic, and I believe they are. Most of them are realistic. But since we, in my condition, I have to be very accurate when I say something. I like to be very careful, and
Absolutely.
because in Haiti, people have that way of doing accusation, but they cannot give you basic
Evidence.
data evidence. So that's why sometimes you will see me like saying that all the money I do not think has been used the proper way. That's a way of saying a lot without saying anything.
I can read, I could translate. And everything that I say, I want to be clear. I do not want to compromise the minister. I definitely want to say that the opinions that I've just shared are my own. No back office conversation has taken place between myself and Dr. Thomas, because I have had a lot of opinions about this. And this is the first time, because this is the first time I'm actually speaking about, Haiti, or speaking to someone in Haiti who happen to have been in the government. But let's be frank. Let's just be true, because there are a lot of unanswered questions. And so I
That's
wanted
right.
to we're leading up to elections in 2022. Do you think, and I know you can't really talk, but I would encourage you to answer me as best as you can we expect to have these elections in 2022?
Uh, we must have elections. We must have, because that's the only way to keep the democratic process. Whenever you interrupt it, this is a big problem. So I strongly think that we must go to election. To
I would
tell
run.
you,
I would run your campaign and come to Haiti and make you president. So you're, somebody I respect with that strong military discipline is what's needed right now in Haiti. Leadership is needed in Haiti, and I'm so sorry. In the last 3 4 years that I've seen the current president, and that's my opinion, that seems to be missing in action. Leadership is not there. So, President Jovenel Moise, I encourage you to come on my show and tell me what your plans are for the future of Haiti, the last year, your legacy. I would love to hear. You must leave a very strong legacy for the country, because, I admire your accomplishments. But this is about Minis, Minis Docteur Franco Thomas, and I am speaking only to him about what we can expect for Haiti in the last year. Do we see more security, more housing? What do you think? The environment? What are the top or focus? What's the top focus? You think education? Now we have COVID. To add to the conversation, tell us a little bit about how the COVID situation is in Haiti.
uh, in Haiti, it has amazed, surprised the entire world. We are not that bad about COVID. I believe that temperature, the way we live outside, we are not confined all the time, like when I was living in Washington, D.C., in air conditioning all the time, that I couldn't even breathe, because you don't even breathe sometimes over there. You're always indoor, air conditioning all the time. So we have in Haiti another way of living. We are outside, plenty of sun, plenty of oxygen. And I believe that our organism is a lot stronger. And that's maybe the reason why we are very resistant to COVID. But also, we have to be frank. maybe we do not have that kind of a collection, data collection, that much information, but I still believe that we are more resistant. Over there, abroad, they live in a very secured environment. Everything is fully clean. But in Haiti, we still have dust. We still have children living in condition that any other kid in the world would die 48 hours after being exposed to that kind of situation. So I think our immune system is way stronger than other countries
Absolutely.
because our system is very intelligent. When you give him all protection, it becomes lazy. But in Haiti, our system has to fight, has to create defense, how to have to create structures to fight against bacteria, against disease. And I think that made a big difference with other very well advanced countries. When I say advanced, advanced as they say.
Thank you so much. And so we're coming up, to the last, 5 minutes, and I want to give you. You tell me. I would like to ask you, what are you most proud of as a Haitian?
As an Haitian, what I'm proud of is that we still we still have that kind of prideness about what we are. Many of the people in Haiti, we still believe that we are way superior. When I say superior, I am not creating anything that like we are superior as human being, but we are superior that in terms that we know that we have value, that we come from a past very strong. We come from people that knew that they had a country to protect. We even protected people from abroad coming to seek protection in Haiti. So we know that we are strong, that we know that we can move forward, that only that a little effort from all the people together will make that change. Not, I don't think that many countries can have such a strong background, such a strong capacity of fighting in resistance as we Haitian. So I'm proud of who I am and I'm proud of my country. I don't like what's going on now, but I know that what's going on now, it's not the country. It's not Haiti what's going
Absolutely. We
on.
remember. We remember, and it's important for us to tell those who don't remember what Haiti is really, what Haiti is and offers. So I want to also ask you, any regrets that you have? Do you have any regrets about your journey and what what you could have done differently? And
I don't think I have any regret because I've done many mistakes. I haven't followed many information, many advice from my parents, from my friends, from many family. But I've learned so much from these things that I don't have any regret. I don't have it at all. I know where I come from. I know what I've done wrong, and I know also what I've done good. So I know where I'm going, and I have my purpose in life. So no regret. As Edith Piaf said, je ne regrette rien.
indeed. And so, what are some personal goals that you currently have? Personal, professional goals right now?
And now I have to be sincere. I'm focusing a lot on my kids. I'm focusing a lot on finishing their education. I want them to be very well prepared citizens. And after I will see. But now, really, all my struggle is to see my kids getting their way to success.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Any final words that you want to share with the audience?
I'm Haitian. My name is Jean-Francois Thomas. I like my country and I like the world. I like the world also. I'm a citizen of the world. I have been living in the United States, in the Dominican Republic. I have visiting many countries, and I think that the world can do better. That
I
we all
agree.
together can do better.
Absolutely. I am a Haitian 100%. You have made me remember who I am today. And I want to say to the audience, if you do not know Haiti, please look it up. I'm happy to share my experience with you. Dr. Dr. Franco Thomas was with me today from Haiti. He is the ex-minister of environment. We want to thank you so much for coming on the Frankly Speaking with Sendra D. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Put your comments below. Dr. Thomas is located in Port-au-Prince. As I said, if you need to reach him, please reach out to me, and I will make sure that you get to him. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, another fantastic episode. I so thank you for taking the time to speak with me. And this is the second part of a two-part video. I appreciate you being part of this community. Until next time. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Frankly Speaking with Sendra D on Sendor TV. Please subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when a new episode is uploaded. Also follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, and we definitely appreciate you being part of this community.